Jordan!
Iain?
Who Michael Monkey washing dishwasher cleaner bike rabbit 14 foot wide?
George Clooney?
No. Two guys. What? Hello, and welcome to episode 172 of Two Guys What's Up, the weekly comedy podcast where I've had no time to prepare, and one guy who just turned up at my house is this guy. It's Jordan. Jordan, what have you got going on for us today?
Today, Iain.
Yes.
This is not what I planned to do originally.
Oh, God. Neither of us are prepared.
No, but last week we had your discussion about the phonetic alphabet.
Yes.
So I've done a little bit on that, which is people's phonetic alphabet fails.
Fantastic.
Which felt appropriate. And as a little bonus at the end, I've put together a compilation from online of what people would deem to be the absolute opposite of a good phonetic alphabet.
Amazing.
And I've included some of my own as well.
Perfect. And I cannot wait to get in on that.
And what have you got for us?
Well, Jordan, today we are in conspiracy mode. And I have a theory that involves billionaires, secret banking plots, and the world's most famous shipwreck. Any ideas?
Titanic.
Correct.
Yes.
Well done. Got
What do
it
I
in
win?
one. A trip on a maiden voyage of a ship that's going out soon? Yeah, sorry.
I'll just say Peter down the road. Was that right?
Incorrect, buddy. It was the Titanic. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Better not go then.
I was just going to say as well, the maiden voyage that you were going to be getting the free ride on was me. So, sorry about that.
Peter down the road.
Yep. Always fancied him, to be fair. But, Jordan, if people like what they hear, where can they find more of it?
Iain, isn't that really weird that you should ask?
A little bit, yeah.
Because, for the good listeners out there, we have Patreon, where there are currently 33 bonus episodes, as well as branded t-shirts and mugs, all starting from just £3 a month.
Oh.
Yeah, or about $5, depending where you're from.
Yeah.
Links, of course, for all of that are down below in the description of this episode.
Delicious, Jordan. But before we jump into all that good stuff, a little bit later on in the episode, why don't you start by telling me, how are you doing? How is Jordan?
Jordan is good. Actually, Jordan's a bit tired, but he's good.
It's a bit weird that you're talking about yourself in the third person.
Felt appropriate.
Maybe don't.
Okay.
I mean, you're in my house. You're freaking me out.
Sorry.
I know where the weapons are. So if you do get a little bit too freaky, I might just, pull out I don't know, what's legal that I can mention.
Spork.
Spork, yep. And I know what to do with it. You've mentioned before what people can do with the spork.
At least it wasn't the lid of a tin can.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I mean, I've got many of those stocked up in a cupboard. But, just dial down the crazy.
Okay.
How's Jordan?
Sorry. I'm all right. I had a little dog walk with Teddy this morning, and as I was there bending over picking up his stuff,
Yep.
as you do as a responsible dog owner.
Nice. You just got scared of that sign, didn't you?
I did.
I'm being watched.
It was you that put it up, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking you leaving shit everywhere. And some of it wasn't Teddy's.
That's why the grammar was So, as I was being a responsible dog owner, I thought to myself, I wonder what dogs think in that moment. Do they think, I've just done this big stinking
Yeah.
Maybe it's marking territory. Maybe, I don't know. Or they just want to empty themselves, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, we's usually what they territorialise with, isn't it?
That's true. So I thought, does Teddy ever wonder, Dad's picking up my shit again. He must love that.
Yeah, why is he saving it?
He's bagging it up and taking it with us.
He must be so proud of it. He's going to show Mum.
That thought crossed my mind. And what's your opinion of that?
What dogs think?
Yeah, what do you think a dog would be thinking when they see the owner picking up their own and bagging it and carrying it with them?
I don't think they care.
Do you think?
I mean, sometimes my wife picks up mine, if I go on the street, and I've never once thought, what's she doing that for?
I mean, she's really into scat, so it makes sense.
Yeah. You had to come in today and hold your nose, didn't you? Because she's down in the living room, covered head to toe, just having a lovely, normal Wednesday night.
Can I say that is not true? Well, I mean, it might be.
You don't know what she's doing right now.
I don't. But when I walked in, she was not covered in shit.
Okay, good to know. She's starting late tonight.
And we're in your bedroom.
We are, yeah.
It feels all sorts of wrong. Yeah, or it was that whole territorial thing. but probably not correct, where the dog does its stuff in a particular place because it thinks, oh, that's going to leave a scent there. I've done my job. And then the owner's freaking picking it up and they're thinking, you bugger.
I literally just marked that place, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
How is every other dog going to know that this is my bit of street now?
Yeah, exactly. So both thoughts crossed my mind.
I guess you should probably just leave it from now on.
That's a really good idea. Actually, that's helpful for when I forget a bag.
Yep, and then you don't have to eat it to get rid of it.
Here's another conundrum, right? What do you do? And I apologise that this is talking
talk.
about... Yeah. You know, this could be a Monday morning where people are eating the breakfast, and I do apologise. We'll not be graphic about it. What would you do as a responsible dog owner if your dog does its thing as it would normally, but it is just wet?
You know what? I was going to ask you that. I was going to say, as a dog owner, what do you do if Teddy all of a sudden diarrhea's all over the sidewalk, all over the path, and you're just like, oh, well, what am I supposed to get a bloody vax and hoover the road?
Exactly. That is the question. I've heard some people say they carry a little bit of water on them so
straw?
They can... Oh...
No?
That was a really good impression.
Thanks, bud.
It sounded real.
I was like, don't need my frappe anymore. That was frothy enough. They take a little, you're going to take a little sachet of coffee, just add it in, give it a stir.
God.
Scoop it into one big pile.
No.
No? Okay.
That does sound really real, though. How are you doing that? It's the action as well. No one can see this, but... You just need the little queen pinky finger, don't you? Honestly, I've lost my train of thought now after I've seen you do that.
That's how I get out of a lot of stuff, by the way. Excuse me, sir, do you know how fast you were going?
How are you doing that?
Yeah, on your way, sir. I'm confused.
No, that was it. What I've heard some people do is that they take a small bottle of water so they can sort of wash it away. In that instance. But I don't think to carry a bottle of water around with me.
No, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, you do have a crate of water in your car.
I do.
So you could at any point just nip back.
What if instead I just drove the car and had Teddy follow the car by the side? So it's almost like I'm picking up Teddy.
Hey, that's a good idea. I thought you were going to say drive the car, have his bum hanging out the window.
Oh, I've got a white car as well.
Let's go faster stripes.
God. Anyway, how are you? Because it is, at the time of recording, the Easter holidays. Your kids are off.
Yep.
How are you?
I had another night the other night where I crashed out. Don't you remember me talking before Christmas, where I thought it was just the fact that I'd eaten loads of shit leading up to Christmas, but I think it was just tiredness because it happened again and I hadn't been eating the same amount of cheese and crackers that I did before Christmas. Yeah, I was just lethargic, shivery, getting those weird like skin sensitive tremors. I don't know if you get them when you get the flu.
Never had that.
It's like a wave of just like goes over your body. It's not like a chill. It's like I don't know. It just feels like a line of sensitivity just washes over me. But either way, I was getting that and I just felt dead. And I got to bed, said to my wife, I feel ill again. I feel like this. Do you mind if I just sleep in tomorrow? Woke up the next day, right as rain. All right. And it was just a nice night's sleep that I needed. Because my problem is I work mostly nights. Yeah. So when my kids are at school and the wife's at work, I can have like a 2 to 3 hour nap during the day to prepare myself for the evening.
Oh, no, not that you would, of course, if your wife's listening to this.
Of course,
you're doing the housework constantly.
Yeah, just.
I mean, that tires you out, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. So then naturally, I just need to do more housework to get myself my morale back up.
But if you were able to have a 2 or 3 hour nap,
if she's
that
not
would have been
listening,
ideal.
I love to sleep. Yeah, because I mean, like I'm a night person. So when I get home from work late, I then can't go straight to bed. So I'm up till stupid o'clock, and then I'm up with the kids, and then so during the day I have a little nap to recalibrate myself, ready for my night shift. But obviously, because the kids are off, I don't want to be like, "Daddy's going to bed." Leave me alone.
Which is also what you said to your wife.
Yeah. So I've just obviously been staying up during the days and also still working my nights, having late evenings. So I think it just caught up to me. So I had a nice night's sleep and feel better.
Good. So fairly successful then.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to happen again because we are going on a third caravan holiday.
Not Spain.
Not Spain. No. Right. Again. Not Spain again. It's been a year since I said, can we go to Spain next year? My wife went, sure. Yeah, we'll go to town. We'll sort that right out for you, bud. You know, while she's tapping away looking at Haven caravan sites. So it's happening again. We're going to Fife up in Scotland.
Okay. Very good.
And it's a 6.5 hour drive.
It would have been less travel to actually go to Spain.
It would have been, and probably cheaper.
Maybe.
So we're going to St Andrews in Fife. So apparently that is a very affluent area. It's quite an expensive area. So, like you go out, you get a stick of rock. It costs you $5,000.
Okay.
So we're going to come back.
No exaggeration.
Tired. And just trying to recoup all our lost sleep again.
I remember when you last came back, and we actually recorded, didn't we?
We did.
Was it the day that you came back?
I'm not sure. I think it was close to it, maybe. Yeah, I think that was episode 83.
And I remember I was drinking and you weren't.
I was, but I was very slow.
Oh, I mean, you were as good as not drinking.
Yeah, I was only drinking to sort of be social, but it's like my body was going, what are you doing? As like one arm was picking up the bottle, my body was like, what's that? What are you doing with that, bud? Why is that going in that glass? No.
It's like liar, liar. Trying to write something.
Drinker.
The pen is blue.
Looking forward to that. It's just going to kill us.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll use that and send that to Haven as an advert.
Perfect. Yeah.
If they want to sponsor us.
Yeah. So good. The adults are so tired because the kids have a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah.
You need a holiday after this holiday.
Come to Haven.
Twice. Just once without the kids.
Yeah. I think that's the best way.
Brilliant.
But anyway, Jordan, shall we crack into the good stuff of today?
Let's do it.
Okie dokie. Right, Jordan, I'm sorry, but today we've no time for steamy car windows, pretending to be a bird hanging off the front end of a boat, or even Celine Dion. Or Silly Dandelion, as I used to call her as a child.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Explains a lot.
All we've got time for is theories. Theories that the Titanic might not have been a tragic accident after all, but a targeted hit job to clear the path for the creation of the United States' most powerful financial institution, more commonly known as the Federal Reserve.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I kind of maybe believe this, but I've not heard your segment properly yet, so you might turn me off it.
Yeah, probably. With my research skills. So the theory goes that some people who died on that ship weren't just passengers. They were powerful figures who conspiracy theorists claimed were opposed to the idea of a central banking system. But the man who was really advocating for it, well, he just happened to own the company that controlled the Titanic and conveniently cancelled his trip on the maiden voyage at the very last minute.
Interesting.
Interesting
What
indeed.
a coincidence.
What a coincidence. Well, that was the Cliff Notes. So let's break this down. Who are the key players that actually were on the ship? Well, first there was John Jacob Astor IV, and when I saw that, I saw IV. I was like, did he invent something medical? Like,
I see.
I was like, oh no, bloody hell, it's the fourth.
It's weird. I've never heard of John Jacob Astor the Third, the second, or the first either.
They were nothing.
Isn't that part of a rhymey song thing? John Jacob, and then it goes on to other things.
Oh, that song about love, isn't that part of a really popular song? I love, and then other stuff?
Yeah, I think you're right, Ian.
Yeah, great, thanks.
It is John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Okay, so not the Astor guy.
No, not Astor, but John Jacob.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up.
Otherwise, it'd be John Jacob Astor Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Jingle, I'm a shit. But this guy wasn't just rich, he was stupid rich. At the time, back in 1912, he was worth around $87 million, which today would be over $2.7 billion.
Wow, okay. That's like Bezos level, isn't it?
That's a fair amount of money. So he made his fortune through real estate in Manhattan and was seen as one of the ultimate old money elites. He was educated, influential, and extremely private.
Oh, okay.
But the question is, was he outspoken enough about banking policy? Well, there's no real clear record about him publicly opposing the creation of the central bank, but being that rich, he was part of the old money world where control over wealth and finance was a serious concern, and that's where some of these theories start to build.
So when you refer to central bank, is this like the conspiracy now of a one central bank?
No. So
Right.
so I mean, I'll get to it a little bit later and explain it a bit better, but America does have a central banking system, so it's one bank that controls the money for the country.
Right, okay.
But then there was Benjamin Guggenheim. Probably pronounced wrong, but that's how it came out, so I'm sticking with it. But this guy was part of the Guggenheim mining dynasty. He was a titan of industry and known for his wealth. His family was heavily involved in business, industry, and finance, and now some theorists paint him as a kind of financial traditionalist who wouldn't have been keen on central banking reforms, especially if they threatened the independence of powerful industrial families. And again, there's no solid evidence that he actively opposed it, but it kind of makes sense that he may have done, because these people have their money.
Yeah, the rich never want to part with theirs, do they?
Precisely. And next up we have Isidor Strauss. This fellow was a co-owner of Macy's and former US congressman. He had been in government and was well connected politically. Some suggested he may have leaned against increased centralization of the financial power, but like the others, there's no clear documented proof that he was actively campaigning against the creation of the Federal Reserve. So all of these people were first class, all wealthy, all politically connected, and all died.
Right. On said Titanic.
On said Titanic. Now, you might be thinking, Ian, just what is the deal with this Federal Reserve stuff? Well, calm down, Jordan, because here is the ins and outs of it. Because you were getting a little angry at me earlier, and I don't appreciate it. Not in my fucking house. So in the early 1900s, the US economy was a bit of a chaotic mess. The banking system was fragmented, there was very little central oversight, and financial panics were common. So every so often, the country would spiral into what they called panics. The worst was the panic of 1907, when stock markets crashed, banks collapsed, and everyday people lost everything.
Oh dear.
So some very powerful figures started pushing the idea of a central banking system, an institution that could step in during financial chaos, regulate the supply of money, and stabilize the economy. Make sense?
Makes sense.
But this caused a major divide. Supporters like JP Morgan wanted a more centralized system that could prevent crisis and stabilize the economy, and he believed the country needed stronger financial coordination because without reform, confidence in American finance could collapse.
Not being funny, but one centralised system seems like more of an issue. You're putting your eggs in one basket.
I think what it is because the bank then has the money, which then gains interest. It's one central system who has it all, not just dotted bits of dosh here and there, because if they run out, it collapses. But if one bank has everyone's money, then essentially can't run out. It's like saying to like a group of people, right, you all need £500 in order to get on this boat.
Right.
But, you know, one guy goes, well, I went out last night and I've only got £200 left. And some other guy goes, oh, well, I've got £600, so I can give him some money. And, you know, down the line, it's always like some do, some don't, some lost all the money, you know, so not everyone's getting on the boat. But if one person had everyone's money and looked after it, then their money would slowly gain because they'd have interest. So then these 500 people, or however many it was, go, oh, we need to get on the boat. And then this one person goes, okay, here's 500, and just hands out, you know, because they've got all of the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. What you're saying is, if we all put our wages together, we could have a proper big mansion.
We could have a good boat pie.
Nice.
Yeah, international waters.
Oh, the waters with like lots of the lovely ice sculptures.
Yeah.
Great.
We'll just for a laugh, we'll drive straight into one.
Lovely.
Boats
Sounds
are
good.
unsinkable anyway, aren't they?
Oh, they are, especially the Titanic.
Yeah, that's the most unsinkable one. So opponents, or at least critics of the idea, feared that a central banking system would put too much power in too few hands. It was seen by some as undemocratic and politically giving enormous influence to a small group of bankers and policymakers. And even today, the Federal Reserve is a bit of a strange hybrid, part public, part private, and has massive influence over the interest rates, inflation, and the wider economy. But enough of sounding like I know what I'm talking about, because this is where it gets proper cloak and dagger. Conspiratorial time, buddy.
And I love this.
I specifically gave you that seat that you're sat on because it has a seatbelt, so strap yourself in. Nice. In November 1910, a group of bankers and policymakers met in secret at Jekyll Island in Georgia to draft what would become the Financial Reserve Act. The group included Senator Nelson Aldrich, a close ally of JP Morgan, Frank Vanderlip, president of the National City Bank, Paul Wahlberg from Kublon & Co., I believe that's pronounced, and a huge proponent of the central banking system, plus representatives from other major financial institutions.
So these are big guys.
Big guys all meeting in secret.
Okay.
With the guy that conveniently didn't get on the Titanic that time. They travelled under false names, told no one where they were going, and pretended it was a duck hunting trip. And on this trip, no ducks were hunted. They laid out the framework for what would eventually become the Federal Reserve System.
Right.
But now, back to the Titanic. So the ship was built by Harland and Wolff, operated by White Star Line, which in turn was controlled by JP Morgan's holding company, International Mercantile Marine. So yes, JP Morgan effectively controlled the company behind the Titanic.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
No, go on, you speak over me, it's fine. In my house.
Did JP Morgan own the Titanic then?
Not,
Is it his?
not specifically the Titanic itself, but
Right.
the company that created it.
Oh, okay. So he was the overseer of all of that, I guess.
I guess he was just the boss. I mean, like, how much does the boss of Sainsbury's, oversee the grocery production and the shop floor staff? Probably none, but, they're the person at the head of it.
So he has the final say.
Yeah. He's just like, build a boat, mate. Yeah, give it a hull, whatever.
Yeah, make it unsinkable.
Yeah, do what he says. And goes for a nap because he's rich.
On his bed of money.
On his big bed of dosh. So he had a private suite booked, a luxury bath, his favourite cigars on board, luggage, and even one of his prized paintings loaded onto the ship ready for him to swan in and enjoy. But before the maiden voyage, some reports say Morgan had all of those personal items removed again.
Okay.
So it's like, oh yeah, stick it on. Oh, actually, on second thought, take it off. It's like, oh, well, won't you want those things when you're on the boat? Yeah.
Oh, but Mr. J.P. Morgan, do you not want those in the room on the Titanic?
Well, I did. But, I've decided I'm going for the minimalist look, actually, this time.
You mean nothing in your room?
Yeah, nothing in the room. In fact, just put me in my house.
Okay.
I'll travel on my house.
He's got that much money, he probably could.
Yeah, probably. And then, Jordan, he bailed last minute. The official reason? Poor health.
He's really a wimp, isn't he?
Yeah, you're calling it, I'm not coming into work. Poor health. That was the reason. Yeah, exactly. So you're laughing, saying, imagine that's the reason, but that's the reason he gave. You could literally say anything. I've hurt my back. I broke my leg. But, poor health.
Wow, okay.
So he said poor health, Jordan, except he was later seen in France, apparently in decent condition, spending time at a spa and continuing his usual lifestyle. Hey, Mr. Morgan, thought you were ill. While he sat there in a bubbling spa with a cigar, yeah, I am, yeah, I just got a case of the poor health,
Yeah.
Are you supposed to be on the Titanic? Oh, was that today? Oh, bloody hell. Oh, I hope no federal banking reserve system is created because of this. Oh, my life.
I hope it doesn't sink.
Oh, yeah, I hope the Titanic's fine. Why'd you say that? Oh, no reason. No reason. Oh, God, I'm in icy water here. Don't you mean hot water? Oh, I'm burgering this up. Don't you mean buggering? Oh, oh, bloody hell. Oh, poor elf,
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So, Jordan, suspicious? Yes, absolutely. Proof of anything? Really. People cancelling travel plans at short notice isn't exactly unheard of. But while he's off out living his best life, what about the 3 richest people who like their money too much to hand over control to a central banking system? Dead, Jordan. Dead is where they are.
They're probably in the Atlantic, aren't they? Frozen to death.
Swimming around, going, this is a bit cold.
There's that weird thought, isn't there, that the people who were on the Titanic that were trapped in their rooms, obviously they'd have perished before that, but they'd have gone down with the ship, and I think it just imploded at some point, didn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's still there.
Not part of it?
It broke in 2. I know that much. So it went down, like, nose first, and then it snapped in half.
Yeah.
And then sank. So, but I mean, I've seen pictures, and I think it's still fairly intact.
Yeah, there is still part of it, isn't there? I mean, people go and see it, don't they? Or try to.
Or try it, yeah, in tin cans.
With PS2 controllers.
Yeah. SNES controllers, and then wonder why they implode.
Yeah. I mean, that is bad. That is fucking stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they were rich as well.
I wonder if any system was due to be put in place.
Maybe. One World Bank.
Oh, God, yeah. And they were all opposed to it. Going to a new
Maybe.
conspiracy here.
Uh-oh.
But Jordan, everything I've said up until now might mean absolutely nothing.
Because it was false.
No, there's more, don't worry. But it does add a little layer of suspicion. And here's where things start to get a bit more uncomfortable. The men in the crow's nest, the ones whose entire job was to spot danger, didn't have binoculars. Not because they forgot them or they weren't issued, but because the key to the locker that they were stored in left the ship before it sailed. So the people responsible for spotting the iceberg were doing it with just their eyes.
Right, okay.
Planned, possibly?
I mean, it sounded that way.
It's like JP Morgan slips old janitor Bill a tenner. It's like, just nick the keys, will you? So are you thinking straight, JP? Oh, poor health. Take the keys on, you bastard.
Maybe it was in his room and they cleared it out with him. All this
Possibly,
stuff.
yeah. It's like, look, I mean, I'm the one who's in charge of this boat, right? I'm the owner. Put the binocular key in my room next to my cigars, please, so I don't forget where they are.
Of course, yeah.
Another one that always gets brought up is there was another ship nearby that night called the Californian. It was close enough that its crew reportedly saw distress rockets lighting up the sky and could have got there in time to help, but for reasons still debated today, whether that be miscommunication, assumptions, or just bad judgment, they didn't come. Almost like they were paid off. JP Morgan slips him a 20. You just stay away, bud. Enjoy the fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing to see here, because you haven't got any binoculars either. They're in my room. And runs away with the key.
He ends up accidentally forgetting that they're in his cigar box and he just smokes them.
Sorry, I left the keys in my cigar box. Accidentally toked that bitch.
Bit metallic.
Rusty. And this is where people start to put things together. There's not exactly proof, but the details seem a bit too coincidental. Because none of these things on their own prove anything, but when you start stacking them together, it creates that uncomfortable feeling that something about the whole situation just isn't clean. You know, it's like...
Doidy.
Yeah, the conspiracy needs a shower.
Yeah.
Get in that shower. But Jordan, there is one final bit to add to the weirdness. The Titanic had a sister ship called the Olympic, which had already been involved in a collision in 1911 with a Royal Navy vessel called the HMS Hawke. The damage was significant, and this is where another theory jumps straight into the line of the iceberg.
Isn't this what... Your face then? I was like, oh, should I have said that?
Yeah. I don't think.
You might be coming on to this, but wasn't there a thing about the Olympic was the real Titanic?
That's what I'm getting onto.
Okay.
So if you ruin my segment, in my house.
Sorry.
So some believe these ships were secretly swapped, sending the damaged Olympic out disguised as the Titanic, deliberately sinking it to claim insurance.
Right.
Others go even further, suggesting it wasn't just about money, because if you wanted to solve two problems at once, i.e. recover a financial loss and quietly remove a few powerful obstacles, well, this would be one way to do it.
No, it does stack up.
It does indeed. People say that this idea doesn't hold up under scrutiny.
Just for me.
Yeah, the whole swapping the shippies about.
Shippies.
But still, it refuses to disappear.
It refuses to what, sorry?
I'm freezing. There's icebergs everywhere.
Ah, okay. Should have got your binoculars. You might have seen them.
Some stole the keys.
Did he? Yeah. In his cigar box.
Yeah.
Smoked them.
But Jordan, maybe that's because everything else surrounding it, the sinking, a powerful financier who didn't board, a group of independently wealthy and influential men who didn't survive, a financial system that would be created in just a year, we have to ask ourselves, was this awful, sinister plot actually planned? And is it likely that someone engineered the sinking of a luxury liner just to remove a handful of political obstacles? When you zoom out, what do we actually have? A handful of strange details that don't quite add up and sit right, and one of the most famous disasters in history. No documents, no whistleblowers, no proof, just a pattern that some people can't quite ignore and feels a little bit too suspicious that makes you just go, hang on a sec.
Where's that locker key?
Where's my f***ing key? But Jordan, I just want to know, what do you think, pal?
Oh, I think it very well could be real.
Yeah.
I'm of the thought that this is very plausible.
Yeah, there's that train of thought at Occam's razor.
Right.
You know, the most logical thing is most probably the right one.
Yeah, the easiest answer is probably it.
Thank you. Yeah, like the most obvious one that you can think of in a situation is probably the right one.
Yeah.
So I think it's the whole, if you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras.
Or the devil.
Yeah, if you want. But, you know, like all these coincidences, I mean, I'm not saying it's true. No, I'm just telling you the facts.
Of course, yeah. I'm saying it probably is true.
Okay, but in Jordan's eyes, you know, all these little weird coincidences seem to stack up. It does just quite seem that it could be possible.
Yeah. Also, the word coincidences feels wrong. It feels like it should be coincidi.
Coincidi on the Titanic. What? What was that, JP Morgan? Nothing, bud. Yeah, have all your money.
Yeah. JP Morgan, more like JP Fraudman.
Why don't you leave the puns to the master, bro?
Sorry, okay. All right, in your house.
Yeah, in my house.
So, I think it could be real. Mm-hmm. A lot of evidence or the stories seem to imply that.
Yep.
And for someone like JP Morgan, who was so rich,
yep,
so wealthy, is it that strange to think that he could pay off a bunch of people to never talk? In the days of no internet, no easy chat, I'm sure he could happily have put, 0.5% of his wealth to somebody.
If that, yeah.
Yeah. If that, and they would just go somewhere else and live a happy life, never say a thing.
Yeah. Like, these days, if you go to the paper about someone famous, you say, oh, I have a big bit of news to tell you. They're all over it, except for recent events. But, it's like, oh, blah, 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 seen on the beach with, I don't know, the mum. And it's like, no care. Either way, back then.
That would have been a lot more hoops to jump through, wouldn't it, to even do that?
But these people had been rich, they'd have been influential, and they may have even owned the news outlet, because it's not as if there was independent news sources on the internet, like you say. There wasn't a mass amount of news. There'd have been a certain amount of newspapers that released information, and they were probably owned by the rich people.
True.
So if somebody said, I've got dirt on this person, they'd say, well, I want to keep my job. So
yeah, he could have made them say, if you're going to publish that, consider your job's gone.
Yeah, so easier to keep information hidden.
Also, just a thought, though. How out there is it a thought someone so wealthy that could truly threaten the lives of people?
Probably fairly easy. I mean, all the banking systems that I was talking about where they were all dotted around and there was a lot of financial crashes all the time and people lost money. JP Morgan could just say to people, oh, where's all your money? In, I don't know, Michigan banking system. Okay, well, I'll just buy that, and all your money is mine.
Yeah,
and I'll incorporate that into my bank over here, and you're done if any of this information comes out.
Literally, it. If you win at Monopoly, that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which
he was very good at playing. So we're like, right, that's it.
You always pass go.
Right, I'll tell you what, mate. I'll make you a deal. I'll let you go to the newspapers with information if you can beat me at Monopoly. Get the board. I'm the dog.
I'm the boat.
I want to be the Iain.
I want to be the cigar. Weird. I don't know. So we'll never know, I'm sure.
We will never know, yeah.
But I think weirder things have happened.
I think I will agree with that. And, when you've got that much money and very little legislation and power, it's easy to keep information in your favour.
Absolutely.
Is all I'll say.
Especially before the internet.
Yeah. And can we spare a moment for the fact of all the other people that died on the boat?
Of course, yeah. Especially Jack and Rose.
No, I said we had no time for them at the beginning. No, I think that was my first sentence, actually.
Oh, right. I wasn't listening.
But yeah, to all the other people, my heart goes out to you.
I know that you're very real about that, but it sounds convoluted. Well, thank you for doing that. That was interesting. I quite like conspiracies generally.
Yeah, it was the anniversary of it last week.
At the time of release?
At the time of release, yeah.
Must be... It's over 100 years, isn't it?
1914.
Was it not 1912? Maybe it is 14.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, we've been through this before.
Yeah.
When I was like, was it 1912? 1905? 1913? 1917?
So go on then, quick maths. How long?
What was it? 1912.
12.
So 12, 22, what's that, 112 years ago? 114 years ago?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Good maths.
Woo!
That vodka helps.
It does. That's why I drink it.
Yeah.
Hydration for the mind.
You have a couple of voddies, soon mathematician.
Precisely.
That's it.
That's my secret.
Perfect.
Patent pending.
Just a shame you spend it all your dosh that you earn from it, on vodka.
On more vodka, yeah. Well, got to keep smarts up,
Yep, fair enough.
Do you ever do this, by the way, whenever you're, pretending like you're talking specifically to the people, like you're listening? So, oh, sorry to you at home, if you say something like that, you look at the mic as if that's the people?
No.
I do that. It's like the mediator between me and the ears of our listeners.
It makes sense.
So people at home, whenever you get that cold chill... you feel like you're being watched. That's me.
Or like you've got the flu.
Yeah, or, you just drank a little bit too much vodka.
But
you're
great
really
maths.
good at maths, yeah.
Oh, right.
So, Jordan, yes, the phonetic alphabet.
Yeah. Phonetic alphabet fails.
Nice.
This was inspired by the conversation we had last week.
Yeah.
Which still makes me quite amused. First one for you. Someone says, several years ago, a friend and I were working together on some things for a convention we were both involved in. She was on the phone with another convention person and was spelling a name.
Nice.
Okay. On the phone, importantly, for you.
Of course, yeah,
Makes sense.
Not in person.
I was only half listening, but I heard her spelling D as in dog, and goes on for a few other letters, N as in dog.
Well.
Then she got off the call. I looked at her and said, N as in dog. Her eyes went wide and she buried her face in her hands. This was the same friend who, years later, said during a conversation about oral versus written exams, I suck at oral. So, not everyone is very good at phonetic alphabets.
That's fine, and good. Because normal people generally don't need them.
We don't. But I do think it is helpful to be aware of it. For as we spoke about last week.
I can't remember if I went into the reason it was invented last week.
It was for communications, for war prevention and so on,
Exactly,
wasn't it?
but it's for f***ing war, to make sure that you don't down the phone say, I found my comb in Berlin, and you go, what, bomb Berlin? And you, what? No. Right? You know, you can spell words out.
Yeah.
So that they cannot be misinterpreted as anything else at all.
Fine.
I'm on the rant again.
Calm down in your house.
If I just want to give a registration plate of a car,
Yeah.
it's fine to go, D, sir. No, I said E. Yes, E. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
D, B, Z.
It's, again, it can go on for as long as it needs, because the mistake of that is not going to be, oh, you've nuked a country.
Fair enough. I hope not.
Well, fingers
That would be
crossed.
quite the garage.
He's spelling out nuke. Nuke Texas? And they've got this button that says "Do not touch. Will nuke Texas." It's like, well, we always said that this button would come in handy. We'll get in the order. Sorry, I singled you out, Texas.
Oh, God. Moving on. Someone has said Q for cucumber. This was a few years ago now, yet I still chuckle every time I remember it. Or F for pheasant. Someone else says, this sounds unbelievable, but it happened. Z for xylophone. See, at this point, it's just idiots.
Right, I was about to say there might be some listeners out there who aren't understanding where we're going with this.
Okay.
But you've just called them all idiots.
I'm sorry, I apologise.
So I'm now not going to say that. But yes, the point of it is the fact that these words sound like they start with these letters, but in fact do not.
That is exactly it.
It's like saying T for pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Incorrect. And a fun fact for you, did you know that helicopter, do you know what two words make that up?
I do. Let me think about this. Is it helico and then ter?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's heliocopt
Yeah.
and ter, or heliocop and ter. So the ter is the PTER, as in the beginning of pterodactyl.
Yeah.
So it's something like helio is Greek for flying.
Right.
So it's like flying thing.
Like a helicopter.
Yeah.
And what's the ter?
It's the pterodactyl bit.
Okay, so flying pterodactyl.
Well, no, because the ter at the beginning of pterodactyl means flying something.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Pterodactyl.
Interesting. So it's not the heliocop thing.
That's like rotation.
Right, okay. So it's rotating flying thing.
Yeah. Essentially,
Got you.
yeah, because we live in a heliocentric solar system, which means we circumnavigate the sun. We spin the sun, yeah.
Got you. We spin the sun.
We spin around the sun. Look, I've had a fucking bottle of vodka and coke, all right?
You have. No, you got some ciders.
And you know what? I was being polite, but you. Yeah, that's on
Thing
the
is, your mic's so good you won't hear it.
Damn, curse you.
Another one. This is in conversation. The writer of this says, J for Juliet? Then I heard the customer yelling to someone in the background, J for giant jugs.
The second half, that's correct. That is a J.
It depends, though, if they thought the J was in giant.
No, that's what I mean. The second bit's correct. Jugs is right, but giant is PTER, isn't it?
And the heliocop as well.
Yeah, the heliocop giant jugs.
I've had Q for cube before, and I for eyeball.
God.
That's quite bad.
See, right, but
Right, go on.
in spoken language, right, because they're not like I for, what was it, I for eye socket or something?
Eyeball, yeah.
Eyeball.
But that works as well.
Eye for eyeball. They're not writing it down to try and figure out what this person's saying. So they could literally just say I for eyeball.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, okay, well, I hear I, so maybe it's just I. It's easy to work out.
I guess. What if they missed out the ball part, so it was I for eye?
That'd work. But like, unless the person receiving the phone call's stupid, they're not going to be like, right, he said I for eyeball? Maybe he meant E for eyeball. Got it. You know,
But right, if I was taking that call, though, this probably says a lot on me, to be honest. You just said, unless they're stupid. But if someone said to me, eye for eyeball, I would be really confused about that, because I would be thinking, well, do you actually mean eye or do you mean E?
yeah, but you'd have to think to yourself, which one are they trying to tell me? Are they giving me a wrong letter to start with, or are they misspelling a word? And if they can see a letter, they're probably going to give you the right letter. So you probably
True.
think the first one's correct.
I guess so.
So they're crap at spelling.
Fair enough. Another one. I had a client say to me, E for igloo.
Okay, I had to think about that one.
Okay, yeah, that's an I as well.
It is.
It's just the opposite way around now.
Yes.
There was one where a woman used alcohol as letters. It sounds like right up your alley. A as in absinthe, B as in bourbon, etc. She was flawless, never paused, and one of my favourites was N as in knife. How about G for G-string?
Okay. Guitarist, obviously.
Of course, yeah. Someone accidentally got mixed up when they were giving me their registration. Was this you, Ian?
Maybe.
They said Gisky Wanky. For anyone that isn't familiar, that should have been Whiskey Yankee.
Yes.
But no, a Yisky Wanky.
Fair enough.
Sounds more like risky, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Like my wife's going to be home in 5 minutes. Let's just whap it out and see if I get to the end.
Yes.
That's called Whiskey Wacky.
I worked in a bank. When a customer got mad, they often seemed to use the phonetic alphabet angrily. B as in, boy does this bank suck. F as in, fuck your bank. L as in, liars. K as in, kill me now. LOL. I just laugh because they're so absurd.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough. I suppose it got the point across, though. Only if it was for the letters B, F and L.
Boyfriend and log.
Maybe. Someone else says, not in the job, but my previous employment, working in a call centre, I had a customer say, C for,
They were obviously having a bad day as well.
They were, yeah, maybe. I mean, it could have been, doesn't say, but it could have been in the job centre.
Absolutely.
No, we've had that before.
Yeah, we have indeed. Do you know what I want to know? I want to know if there's a complete phonetic alphabet for words that sound like they should begin with a letter, like Q for cucumber. It's like an entire phonetic alphabet like that. So like A for, oh God. I think
Good luck.
This is a difficult one, isn't it?
There might be a few of these at the end. We'll see.
Okay.
What about L for... L for elephant? I've heard D as in gin, like the
That's good.
paranormal thing. Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah.
Very clever.
But I feel like most people wouldn't get that.
Probably, yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, a gin, like a genie, is actually spelled D-J-I-N-N.
Yes.
So that person, I like that person. I want to know that person.
Fair enough, yeah. And just to wrap up this list,
Yep.
I did a little bit of digging, like I said at the beginning, and I've compiled what I think is the ultimate worst phonetic alphabet.
So the entirety of it, you're going to
Of
give me
the alphabet.
26 letters here.
I am.
Nice.
Yeah. There was a book, it's funny that you mentioned this earlier actually, that was released in 2018 called P is for Pterodactyl.
Oh, I think Vsauce has spoke about
Maybe,
this.
possibly. I seem to remember that as well.
So, carry on.
Yeah, like no one's fucking spoken about Titanic.
God, right, in my house.
Sorry, okay. It was great, you did a really good job.
Thank you.
And you didn't turn me off it,
Good to know.
so it solidified it for me.
Yeah, the Titanic was real.
P is for Pterodactyl, the worst alphabet book ever.
Nice.
And as I said, it was written in 2018 and it's a children's picture book and it showcases English words with silent letters and bizarre spellings. All right, so far so good. So I've taken a few of these and I've also found some others online that people have suggested and I've compiled a few in myself for what I believe is the ultimate worst phonetic alphabet.
Perfect.
So if anybody is listening to this at home, and I'm looking at the mic in Ian
Yeah,
style,
of course, yeah.
please do let us know if you have your own ideas for some phonetic alphabet fails. Let us know by email or the Two Guys WhatsApp hotline number.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready, Ian?
I am ready. I can't wait.
Okay, what about A for R?
Good.
That's confusing.
It is, and it's correct.
It is. What about B for Delium?
What?
Which, again, is a silent B at the beginning of this.
Okay, right.
I didn't realise, but this is a resin that's extracted from some trees.
That might be why it confused me.
Absolutely.
Clearly, I need more vodka to up my smarts.
No, that only helps for the maths.
Oh.
So you
you're
need
right,
a cider for that, don't you?
Got it.
Yeah. What about C for Tsar?
Like the Russian
Exactly.
king.
Yeah.
Cider's worked, people.
What about D for W? Confusing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Confusing.
You're f***ing me up here, pal.
What about E for I?
Yeah,
That would be terrible.
I can see where these are. Yeah.
This next one, it was about the best I could get, but F is a really difficult word to do this with. So F for fuchsia. Might throw a few people off, maybe, but...
Yeah.
Next. G for gnocchi.
Yep, a delicious pasta.
You know what? I don't like it.
No, I don't.
Oh, fair enough.
I was just trying to be, bubbly and inviting. Or, to be a bit if I was like, disgusting, awful pasta.
Yeah.
People are, I'm not listening to these people anymore. God. They don't even like gnocchi. Obviously begins with an N. N for gnocchi.
What about H for heir?
As in...
like the heir to the throne?
Yeah.
You'll like this one. I for Iain.
Nice.
Doesn't sound like an I.
It doesn't, which is where a lot of people get confused. People always spell my name E-I-A-N.
E-I-A... Do they?
Yeah.
No.
Yep. People who don't know how to spell it, because my name is spelt weird, for anyone who doesn't know. It's not the traditional way of spelling Iain. So I go, oh yeah, it's I-A-I-N, and they go, E-I-A. I'm like, no.
Wow.
Literally everyone I have ever said it to goes, what? And I'm like, I-A. You got that?
E-I-N.
It's literally
A-A-N?
four letters. But everyone always, I don't know if I'm saying it fast, but even then, I don't think it's that hard to hear. I-A-I-N.
Surely you would be saying, my name is Iain, and it's spelt...
I-A-I-N.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, E-A... What?
E-A-I... What are you talking about?
Wow.
And then I face palm my hand so hard through the back of my head, I accidentally face palm my wife who stood behind me. And she's like, not again.
And then you forcibly face palm their head to the table.
Naturally, yeah, because I'm such a violent character. Like, right, that's it. Let's get a closer look, bud.
What about O for wanting?
Wanting?
It's another word for oneness. Like, talking of oneself.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there you go.
I'll take your word for that one, Bob.
What about J for Jose?
Yep. Spanish that, yeah.
What about K for need?
Yep.
Still correct. What about L for Yarita?
What is that?
Apparently it's a plant. It's spelled L-L-A-R-E-T-A.
And how's it pronounced?
Yarita.
I think that's lying to you. L for lying.
M for mnemonic.
Yep.
N for when.
Okay, now you're lying to me, bro.
So this is a Vietnamese surname.
Oh, okay, right.
So it's spelled N-G-U-Y-E-N. Like, it looks like
Right.
Nguyen. O for Ouija.
Nice. That's that same guy who did the gin in it.
It is. Probably.
What a guy.
P for pneumonia.
Yep. F***ing horrible disease.
Disease? Mm-hmm. Is it classed as disease?
I think so.
Is it?
So is pneumonia a disease? F***ing norm. In my house. Alexa, is pneumonia a disease?
I don't know that one.
You f***ing pneumonia.
Begins with a P.
Yep. Now how do they spell disease? Is that with a Z?
Begins with an M.
Yeah, pneumonia is a disease.
Really? I would not have classed it as a disease.
Thank God. I would have absolutely edited that out if I'd got it wrong.
That's so weird. I would not have considered it a disease. See, I think of disease as being cancer or something that is almost not curable. In my head, that's how I would define it, a disease, as opposed to an illness that you could get over.
Right, that's interesting.
But I suppose that's a skewed thought.
Yeah, I think you got some research to do there, pal, because it's wrong.
Fine, I'll move on. What about Q as in key?
Yeah, or quiche.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too.
I'm on form.
R as in wrath. Technically, R is the beginning of wrath, R-A-T-H, but my thought was that people would think of that as the W on wrath.
Yes, I am stupid then. I haven't quite got the concept this far into it. I understand.
S for C.
Yep.
That would be very confusing.
It'll be very confusing, yep.
Because they might think it's the letter C.
Yep.
T as in Tchaikovsky.
No.
U as in earn, because it could be like earn as in you earn money.
Yeah,
Yeah. W as in Y. That would be very confusing. X as in xylophone. It's fairly straightforward. I think everyone knows that one.
Yep.
Y as in yttrium.
Is that spelled with a Y?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the more you know.
And then Z as in yang.
Another surname.
Asian surname.
Nice.
Yeah, so that I think would be a very confusing phonetic alphabet.
Probably why they didn't go for it. I can imagine this is the one that was originally pitched, and the guy was like,
I'm about to bomb this country. Spell it for me. S for C.
yeah.
So I did a bit of thinking about this, you know, and I know that you did it earlier, and I kind of didn't want to spoil it for your name using this phonetic alphabet.
Okay.
So this, let's say that A could actually be Isle.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that would be correct, but it doesn't really sound like it.
Yeah.
So your name phonetically would be, if I was Isle as well, Isle, when. Which feels horrible.
Yeah, because an isle is also like an island.
Yes.
So
exactly.
ISLE.
Yep.
So Isle. When? Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you done yours?
I haven't, but I can tell you. Mine would be Jose, Wunning, Wrath, W, R, when.
Nice.
Have you got that?
Yep, Jodorn.
Yeah, so there you go. Some phonetic alphabet fails.
Delicious. Thank you very much for that. It was a fun one.
And, you know, next time you're taking your car in for its MOT.
I'm going to give them that.
Yeah. Please do.
Yeah, send me that. I'll teach them to use it out of turn. Oh, yeah, hi, mate. I just need to book your car in if you wouldn't mind telling me your registration.
Can you tell me your name? It's Iain spelt with Isle. When?
God.
Lovely. Yeah,
Lovely.
there you go.
Yeah, no, that was a fun one. Thank you very much for bringing that to us, John. And also rekindling some horrors from my past.
I'm sorry.
It's always, nice when you do that to me. I see you and you're like, hey, bud, I'm going to your night up. I know you'd forgotten about that last week, so here's a little reminder of all your horrors that you've been through in your life.
In your house?
In my house.
You're welcome.
And with that, Jordan, does that about bring us round to the end of today's episode?
I think it does.
Nice one. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Two Guys What's Up. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen to us so you don't miss another episode, and maybe even tell a friend. Take your friend to the alphabet shop and just pick out random letters and just start naming random things, because the people there, I dare say, they will know the phonetic alphabet. Like, like someone comes in and asks for a J and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, what did you say? Did you say a K? They said, no, I said J. Oh, Juliet, got it. Right, but
as
if
in
you go
Jose?
in, as in, exactly, yeah, you go in and be like, yeah, I'll have a J as in Jankum Revolt, and they'll be like, and the head will explode, and it'll just be hilarious. And then on your way out, you could be like, and then it'll just be fun for everyone.
Lovely.
Oh, and also, by the way, listen to Two Guys What's Up.
Of course. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, our Linktree link is in the bio of this episode, which you can click on and find all the information you need, along with our Two Guys hotline WhatsApp number, which is 07395 840 199.
And don't forget to check out our Patreon if you want to help support the show and get some fucking amazing stuff while you're doing it. Mugs, t-shirts,
Yeah.
bonus episodes, all for just £3 a month.
But if you can't do that and you'd still like to help us out, then a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice would be the best and the freest way to do that for us. And we would be smashingly grateful.
Yeah, it would, yeah. Thanks, Jordan. But on that note, thanks for listening. Y'all have an amazing week. And we will see you next Monday. Bye.
Betrayal.
Love yous. But yeah, to all the other people, my heart goes out to you.
I know that you're very real about that, but it sounds convoluted.
My thoughts are with you.
Especially when you're doing the Salt Bay.
That's that.
Depends
Which
on
looks
what.
like a snake.
It does. It does.
The snake of truth. JP Morgan was a bastard. He stole the keys. I knew it.
You just sound like you're schizophrenic in audio form.
How dare you come into my house
Sorry. Of course.
and insult
Yes,
me and Snakey like this?
You just needed to put that sock that was hanging over your
My mic.
SM7 TV.
You're lucky Sneaky's on a leash.
I am. Very lucky.
He's trying to get to you.
He is. Yeah.
He's very good at that.
A lot of practice.
Oh, yeah.